Jakey, it's week 17. Who's excited?
Where's Brandon? You just froze.
Did I? Am I better now?
Yeah, you're good now.
No, I'm sorry.
Well, you have to move the camera. You just
basement Wi-Fi. Well, you know what? Because when I freeze, you stay still. I've noticed, like in this program, if I'm freezing for you, you stay still. So I don't know that I'm freezing.
I think you are.
All right. Am I better now?
Yeah, you're good right now.
Apologies, everyone, for the early freeze. Should I start that all over again with the Jakey show, or do you want to just jump into week 17?
Week 17 band kickers reminder for next year for everybody.
Jake, you did an article, obviously, about week 17 waiver wire and rankings. What I want to go to the comments section because I feel like that's where the people are. What are the questions? Like, are people still playing week 17, or are they just asking like a lot of DFS questions?
Small amount, actually. This isn't a humble brag. Did you set this up on purpose?
No, I know there are a lot of thank yous. I was hoping that you would just point that out, that you're awesome, Jake.
There's legitimately like 95% thank yous. A smattering, like I think maybe 5 of the entire comments are, who should I keep for next year as of today? What would you think about week 17? This person, somebody asked, do you think Tom Brady plays the entire game? And then
that's a good question. What was your answer to that?
No, so Bruce Arians already came out and said that the Buccaneers starters are starting. But what does that mean? Yeah. Does that mean
the honorary start at the beginning?
Yeah. Does this mean preseason they play one quarter? Does this mean they play the first half? Do they mean, what? Yeah, that's the concern. Is so I said at the top of because they combined the waivers and the rankings, as you said, we already know the Chiefs are sitting. Well, the Steelers have already come out and sat Roethlisberger. So yeah.
That's Billy Enright, a good friend from Sports Illustrated.
Good friend. Good friend.
Is he? Are you saying that mockingly? He is. I love Bill.
No, why does everything sound mockingly when I'm being sincere?
Bill hosts a show with Jim Cramer. I can't recall the name of it. I see it on my timeline. I pop in from once in a while, but
what goes back to us? Yeah,
check out Billy Enright. He's a good dude. Very good dude. Very great analyst.
Yeah, we already have the Steelers, which if you're sitting Ben, makes me think that even if Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster start the game, that they don't play much.
Okay, so who's?
I actually have Claypool and James Washington ranked ahead of them.
Do you think that Mike Tomlin's the kind of guy who will play Deontay Johnson the entire game? And not like to punish him, but to be like, listen, man, you've been killing us with these drops. Like, play this whole game and concentrate. Please.
Keep freezing so much.
Am I still really?
Yeah, you're freezing like every 30 seconds.
All right. I'll go to plan B.
No, because he already sent the message to Deontay. He said, I'm the second quarter, and he played 100% of the snaps in the second half. He's not going to keep Deontay out there and potentially risk losing him. With no Roethlisberger, if you're starting Mason Rudolph, what's the point of playing the starters? There's no reps for them because you're repping with the wrong quarterback.
Jake, we're going rogue here. You ready?
What are we doing over here?
Moving the entire operation.
Better Wi-Fi. Now you're just a white circle. There's no comments. Where is everybody? Nobody cares about week 17. I'm going to just start answering questions. You can go, Nando. Can you even hear me? I'm sure this is quality content for everybody. Nando's on the loose. Yeah, he is. From Phil Mike, your friend.
Jakey. I'm backy.
Oh, and there's your chest.
Give me a second.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I know what's going on here.
I wish I could watch the follower count to see if we're going up or down with this.
Actually, I don't know. I lost. There we go, Jake. We went up.
There we go.
All right, I'm back. I know what happened. I'm in the wrong. There's a little dead zone for Wi-Fi in my house here.
You know what's even better now? You're like a kung fu flick. Your mouth doesn't sync up with your speech.
Come on, man. This is ridiculous.
I'm serious.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to live with it for now, Jake. Jakey.
Nando for yes. Oh, I was gonna answer that one. I saw that. He's with his family in Syracuse.
We've been here for like a month and a half, hanging out, quarantining safely. So
hide the bottle of Tide at least.
There's no bottle of Tide. Jake, I did have something planned. I know. It's Josh Allen and Diggs.
I would also plan on not much of them because Cole Beasley is week to week. So why would they continue to risk more? Like the Steelers and the Bills are only going to be 2 or 3. So you could argue that they get 2 playoff home games instead of 1. But I don't know if they're going to risk much.
Jake, who cares about home games, right? Like, who cares?
They still do. There's still a factor of not having to travel. We talk to players all the time who say it's just the comforts of home. For the longest time, Mike Tomlin didn't have an answer besides speculating. When I asked him, I think you remember this. I asked him like 3 or 4 years ago about the Ben Roethlisberger home road splits.
Yep.
And he said there's just something about, there's nothing that they're doing differently. It's just something about people, creatures of comfort, being at home.
Jake always brings it back to talking to Mike Tomlin somehow, some way. It's impressive.
If I could actually look, if I could tell you something straight from Mike Tomlin's mouth, isn't that more valuable than mine?
Jake, here's a fun thing that I had for you. I pulled up all the PPR leaders for Week 17 from 2015 on. I thought there were going to be like some weird names, and there really weren't. Like at least not in the top 15. Damian Williams was there in that 2019. Not even the 2018 Damian Williams. 2019 Damian Williams was in there at number 15. Boston Scott was number 5 from last year. Blake Jarwin was number 4 from 2018. But everything else is kind of like chalk, It was like Derrick Henry, Josh Allen, Juju Smith-Schuster, Keenan Allen, Aaron Rodgers. Go down a little bit more. You get Deion Lewis from 2017, but that was the good Deion Lewis that we all knew and loved. So I'm just scanning these over for you. I don't know if you find this compelling or not.
No, well, I mean, the thing is you're talking about those. Some of those are factors where we're not talking about they were sitting.
Right. Well, yeah, but I mean, even Week 17, we always say is a weird week, and I know people are sitting, but it doesn't seem like, okay, here's Sharkhandrick West. Here we go. Once you hit 30, it goes nuts. Sharkhandrick West in 2016 had 28.6 in Week 17. Rex Burkhead in 2016 had 28.4 back when he was with the Bengals. Zay Jones in 2018, 27.3. Sean Drone in 2016, 26.9. Rashard Matthews in 2016, 26.4.
Oh, Rashard Matthews was good, though.
Yeah, but I mean,
sure, Matthews had that one good season.
I guess that was the good season.
Here's the truth: is what we're breaking down is the same thing we break down. It's not a lot of teams.
Yeah,
it's just when you have the teams that are in play, it's a lot of people with that team because it's playoff team. Like, people always say you can plan for Week 17. No, you can't because first of all, we see this every year of who do we expect to be the number 1 seed in the NFC, and they're not. It's still up in the air. So all 3 teams are playing. On the flip side, it's not the number 1 seed that we're worried about benching. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's who could be the 5, 6, or 7 seed. And maybe they want to try to avoid somebody, but they can't predict who they're going to avoid because the 1, 2, and 3 aren't settled. So that's why they might just bench people anyway. On the AFC side, same thing. It's like they're, do they care about the number 2 or 3 seed, or do they care about being healthy? So it comes down to you can't really predict at the beginning of the season. And then what if, for everybody out there that said it wasn't a great strategy, it actually paid off like amazing this year if you started Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And you're going to get to Week 17 and make it all this way of being the best team in your league with 2 of the best players, and now you have to go find replacements for both of them? Like, that's just why.
And Cooper Kupp very quietly won a COVID-19 list yesterday too.
They haven't said whether or not it's close contact or he actually has it, so we have to wait to see what happens with that. And he's got John Wolford playing quarterback, so that's an entire.
Jake, they might have Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles was there last
year.
No. Exact system.
No, they're rolling. Yeah, but they're rolling with Wolford at least to start. I looked this up. We were talking about this yesterday on the show, Nando. I said initially I don't think it's going to be good, but I did some digging during the show with Beller and Funston. And I went back and I looked because I told him I would go look. And I looked at the preseason games from 2019. That's where he played. He actually threw 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Looked somewhat capable. Again, it's preseason, but he looked capable. And for all until like it's 8 games in a full season and the numbers aren't that flashy, but he did lead the AAF in touchdowns. So it's not the end of the world. And if you told me out of the entire 32 coaches in the NFL, pick top 3 that could get the most out of any quarterback, Sean McVay would be on that short list.
Well, we saw Heineke come in last week, and do something. He was an XFL guy, I think. Good system fit, at least for half of football. So
he's also this.
Over under.
ODU Monarch.
There you go. Well, how did I
actually
talking about it? How did I mention his name first, then, Jake?
I actually had to sit on the Washington huddle. Like my spot is 7:30 every single week. Even when I do the full show or if I just do my segment, I have to sit there and wait to find out if Tyler Heineke was going to usurp my spot because of depending on their team meetings. I was like, it's the backup quarterback. Come on, who's the bigger guy?
Look, for as many Dwayne Haskins cards that I still own in my closet, they're quickly decreasing in value. It's a good story, man. This Heineke, like, can you imagine Heineke stepping in off the practice squad and leading Washington? Like, every single quarterback story this year at the expense of poor Dwayne Haskins has been great coming out of Washington. Like the obviously the comeback, the Heineke thing. Yeah, Alex Smith. I'm blanking on the dude's name. Kyle Allen, like out of nowhere, like a system fit, who was amazing for a couple weeks before he got hurt. I was rooting against them a little bit because of my personal vested interest, but it's a good story, man. And Heineke's like, if he starts this week and gets Washington into the playoffs, how great of a story is that, Jakey?
I mean, it would be terrific. ODU represent. We had Travis Fulgham at the middle of the year. We have Zach Pascal the past 2 or 3 weeks, and then we get Heineke. ODU, man.
Football factory, Jake.
Football factory. We just need O'Shea Zimenez to do something for the Giants next year.
How about Fulgham falling off like that, huh? That's a shame.
I didn't expect it to be that bad, but I said that was going to be a major concern is once you started getting number one defensive coverage, because as much as I love Fulgham, and I know he's not watching this, unfortunately, even though he follows me from the combine, is like, look, the truth is about some players. It's what happened to Michael Pittman. I think that's a good comparison too, even before Michael Pittman got hurt, is when you're a number 2 NFL talent wide receiver, as in you can't be a number 1 just because not everybody can be a number 1. Like that's not saying it. Like, I can't be the number 1 person in all of fantasy. That's Matthew Berry. Like, some people aren't that person.
Yeah.
The best you can be, you need not to be the number 1 attention. Here's a better example, and this doesn't really disparage anybody. Go back to Randall Cobb when he was asked to be the number 1 for the Packers. He's just not equipped for that. And that's what happened to Fulgham. Unfortunately, a lot more killed it.
Oh, Jake,
there you go.
Go give a rookie card tip, Jake.
For ODU? Oh, there's nobody on ODU right now.
What's the guy's name on the Giants you just talked about?
O'Shea Zimenez? He's defensive. He's outside / defensive line. Yeah.
Week 17, Jake.
But yeah, and you don't want anybody on ODU. Our team is trash right now. I think they won 1 game last year, and I think they squeaked by 2. They should have never went to Conference USA. They should have just stayed.
Commander 2, only 5 watching on YouTube, my friend. We get a lot more on Facebook and through Twitter / Periscope. But I agree. This is a week for DFS and some fun, and if you're in a state where you can gamble for some gambling. Like, this is just like exhale. You can watch actual football and root for your actual team.
Here's what I said too, Nando, is if you want to still play Week 17 just for the fun, because that was one of Funston's arguments. It's his meat on the bone. And my counter argument is not all meat on the bone is good meat. Like, you get grizzle bone, like that. You don't want that meat. It's still crap. So the flip side of it is you could play DFS in your league for like $50 for Week 17. So, go set up a private team on DraftKings or FanDuel or whatever you want and go do that. Wow, you're super frozen. Okay, you're back. No, you're not. Now you're frozen again.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, Dad's internet.
Dad's
I gotta get closer to this wall. Hold on.
just you could do like Ricky Bobby. Just hold it and don't know what to do with your hands.
But you know what it is? The router is like up. Everyone's gotten a good look at my basement now. There we go.
I don't think they care.
Happy. I'm not gonna freeze, but
it's just super dark.
Hold on, I got a light back here. Jake, answer this question. I'll be right back.
Okay. Best tips for preparing for next season? Don't go away. For everybody that unfollows at the end of the season and then comes back because they're worried about the fantasy baseball content, I have fantasy football going the entire off season. Actually,
you know what? Moody's going to be doing it. Brandon Howard's going to be doing it, and Jeff Haverlack from Dynasty League Football. Jeff Haverlack's going to be doing it too. We're going to have some
I have my way too early rankings. I do my draft coverage. I have dynasty rankings. I did my breakdown series of the breakout quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Hit on all those. So like these are the things. Just stick around.
You know what I would also recommend? I would do wait, does sleeves on that orange? Is there an orange beanbag behind me?
I think it looks like it's orange. I think it's a jacket or something.
No, that's like 7 different things piled up on the couch because I had to.
What's Paul's? Paul's is super long. You can cover us up.
Boop. Sorry, no one knows what we're talking about. But yeah, Sorry, man. I had to make the other shot look good. I didn't think I have to move around the basement today for this.
What's Paul's?
Paul's a survivor question. Jake, by the way, I
Okay.
just want to go back to Phil Mike's question real quick. The best advice and the thing that actually brought me to like another level was doing like once a month some of those off-season best ball 10s, because it forces you to pay attention to everything and it gives you an idea of what the trends are going to be. So, doing in like January, February, March. Actually, I think I started doing mine March, April, May, June, July. And I won a couple. I got some money. So that worked out well.
I will say one thing too for everybody out there in Dynasty, since you're talking about that, if there are anybody if there are anybody, good grammar at the end of the year, if there's anybody that's in Dynasty and waiting on those articles and stuff like that, the biggest thing you can do for off-season trades, trade away running backs without clear positions. Like, get away from it. Like, if you can get stuff for running backs and turn them into wide receivers or picks, just a lot of people asking about Damian Harris. Well, Sony Michel might finally, but no, you never know. Jeff Wilson, that entire situation with Mostert, Myles Gaskin. What if they draft Najee Harris, which would be amazing. But unless the running back is in a clear position, that's the best time to get value in Dynasty, because you could immediately lose your running back value starting next year.
Jake, we got a lot of garbage. Well, we didn't get a lot of garbage. Well, maybe we did a little bit in the comments of our mock draft for letting David Montgomery drop so far. And I was thinking, like, all right, Tariq Cohen's back. I'm sure they'll draft someone weird. Like, I like David Montgomery a lot, but I feel like he kind of went where he should have gone.
You saw my answer to your question was I almost took him where I took Will Fuller.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how that team shook out going 4 straight wide receivers. And in hindsight, I would go back and take Montgomery, but it still doesn't change Montgomery from being the 26th running back. And there's a couple factors here. He ran into the most amazing schedule ever.
Yep.
And I don't want to take anything away from, but you still have to beat who you have to beat. But Dave Montgomery's still, I'd say, a high-end RB2 if we were doing talent rankings. And then, as you mentioned, what if Tariq Cohen's back? What if they draft somebody and, just move on from Cohen to be a complementary piece? Who knows who the quarterback is next year? Who now is Allen Robinson back and is now that offense hamstring? There's just so many questions with David Montgomery. I don't think it's a big argument. Maybe he should have gone 3 or 4 spots ahead of where he went as a running back, but I don't think it's a crucial thing.
You know what else I found interesting? That everyone, like, people, here's a preview of our mock draft roundtable, people, is that we were asked, like, who would you take in the 11th round? It was a 10 round. And everyone said Myles Gaskin. But I don't think Miami's going to do a Myles Gaskin thing next year. I don't think that's.
I do. If they don't, I think if they don't draft their answer, whether it's Harris, Etienne, or maybe they fall in love with one of the other running backs. That's why preview, you'll see my answer about why I took the rookie running backs and what that really meant. But the real truth is Gaskin they could go the San Francisco route. I've liked Gaskin. I wrote about Gaskin last year. I am a Gaskin fan.
I don't know. I can't speak to that.
I am a Gaskin fan, and it's not, obviously recency bias is in people's minds, whether or not they want to admit it.
Yeah.
So I actually went with Gaskin because I thought a lot of people were going to say there was somebody else. I actually thought everybody was going to pick the one common answer, and that's why I went away from it. Well, I don't remember what it was.
Still time to change your answer, but it's not going up till next week. So.
Phil Mike is saying Dalvin Cook is out this weekend for a family emergency.
Oh, that's not good.
Yes. Will not play. So there's Vikings. So just go all over Kirk Cousins and dang, that screws up my.
All right, Jay, go do your rank. Let's get this question from.
No, I'm not doing rankings. I'm signed because I'm still in Week 17 Survivor, and the Vikings were my pick.
Well, let's hit this one first. Then we got a Survivor question coming up. If Cup misses, who do you guys like for the Rams? Tight ends, Reynolds, Malcolm Brown will be 60% owned. He's talking about DFS here, obviously.
Reynolds.
Yeah, Reynolds. What about Van Jefferson, Jake?
Yeah, I mean he's still third though. That's really what it comes down to. The tight ends, you could pick one or the other. The problem is they both are on the field so much they siphon from each other.
Here's our guy Paul. Back with Week 17 Survivor, need 2 for. He's got a lot of teams. Cincinnati.
Wait, I'm surprised because he needed 2 from us last week, and I gave him the lock with the Bears, but we were all wrong. I said Washington, you said Philly, and Beller said Houston, and all 3 of them lost.
Oh, maybe he just wants to pool opinions like Richard Dreyfuss and let it ride.
So I could tell you, I have a lot of these same ones, and I was originally taking Minnesota. Oh, I guess Detroit is the bold one. So I have Minnesota. I was going to take Minnesota versus Detroit. And if not, I can tell you who I feel the best about. I'm taking Dallas against the Giants.
Oh, stupid Giants, right, Jake?
Yeah. which just means the Giants are going to screw up everything, go 6-10, win in the division, get a significantly worse draft pick, probably keep Gettleman because of it.
Jakey, I have money on the Giant, and I hate being that guy. I got money on, but preseason with all the Dwayne Haskins stuff, talking to Emery about how they'd be good and everyone else is going to be bad. I put like $10 on Washington at very good odds.
At the beginning of the season,
middle of the season when the Giants were had one win or whatever, I'm like, that team's actually pretty good if they can gel together a little bit. This is like after Gallman's second good game, so I put I think like 20 on the Giants. So obviously Dallas is going to win this division. And I've learned a lesson about gambling on sports.
No, it's not a lesson. It's still Washington wins. They get the division.
Good news from Paul.
So there you go. Yeah, everybody got kicked out on the last one.
Nice.
I'm down to 18 people out of 360, Nando. I've never made it to week 17 and still 18 people hanging on.
Are you not allowed to talk to the 18 people? You're like, let's all just split this and call it a game right now?
No, because even at that point, I don't want to put the numbers out there.
All right, fine. Come on, Jake. That's uncouth.
Uncouth.
I don't know. Is that the word I'm looking for?
I don't know. I don't know what you're looking for.
All right. Talking about
Well, and the worst part about it is I know at least 4 teams are going to get through because one still has the Bucks. Although I guess hopefully they pull their starters and that goes haywire. And then kudos to the people that did it. I can't believe they did. There's still 3 people left with the Ravens.
Wow.
How did you save the Ravens for week 17?
Well, I guess 17? You had some COVID weeks in the middle there that you
No, but still,
yeah.
I'm surviving in advance. I don't know how you saved and then saved them for week 17.
I watched them get destroyed.
No, that's not going to happen.
The Jets are on a roll. Stranger things have happened, Jake.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Baltimore's playing for a playoff spot, and they're playing Cincinnati. They're not losing.
So we put up all our questions. Well, let's get Blackbeard in here. He fixed playing, but he didn't fix your. Come back with star YOU apostrophe RE. You should write the whole thing, Blackbird, and I'll put it up, and we'll leave it on that. We'll leave it on that as we get out of here.
Funston was arguing for it yesterday if you want the reasons behind it. But I called him out.
Listen to the podcast.
I called him out for his text message, though.
Text message?
Remember the text message where he said, "Are you putting in waivers?" And I said,
yeah.
"Yes." And he rolled his eyes, and I said, "I thought you liked week 17." He goes, "Not if I'm not in it."
All
Just
right.
play DFS or play. You know what? Play it. See this thing. If you want to play week 17, I get it. Make it separate from the regular season. Make it a separate pot. Make it best ball. Do something where it's just don't have the real championship in week 17.
Yeah. Listen to Jake.
Alex, it's the last question. That's a relevant question.
All right.
It might actually be Abdullah. Abdullah's been getting more run than anybody. Madison, I don't know if Madison's is he officially back yet because he was hurt. And if he's back, I don't know how much they would risk him. I'm searching it right now. Yeah, still dealing with. He was a concussion. He's still not back. That's multiple.
Never a good thing.
So he had an appendectomy, and then he had a concussion. So
I'd say call it quits.
Yeah, I mean that's really
what
what
Amir Abdullah. He's going to have a game. He's going to be that guy in that week 17 top
or
30.
just avoid it. I mean, Abdullah would be my boon. Would just be if you're chasing the touchdowns. I think they've been working Abdullah more.
Quick programming note from Jakey and I. Last show Sunday, so join in the fun. It'll be fun. I promise. It won't be a boring all week 17. Maybe we'll look ahead a bit. Maybe we'll go over that mock draft a little bit.
Yeah, maybe do that. Are you going to be doing any NBA shows? That's actually kind of...
Not that I know of. Not in the hopper. We're not right
any
now.
NBA. Say that really fast.
Any NBA. By the way, I want to shout out JockMKT before we go. JockMKT's been sponsoring the show all year, and they've allowed us to click off that advertisement button so you don't have to sit through any of those ads online. So if you want to check them out, it's a fun game. They do it for NBA and they do it for NFL. And Beller's actually won a bunch of money. And I think you find like some of these newer games you're going to find are relatively somewhat easy, to win some money on. So go check them out. Athletic 10 gets you $10. I think you got to deposit $10. It might only, any deposit might be, but I can't remember exactly what it was. But I mean, throw $10 in, you get $10 to play with, and then Sunday, there's a great alternative for your Week 17 fun is checking out JockMKT, which they're good dudes. We talked to them. It's not like they're paying us just to say this stuff, and there are these figures in the background. They're good dudes. We've talked to them before. We had some calls with them.
They're hiding behind all that stuff in Nando's basement.
Yeah, right. They're under the orange thing. Yeah, JK. All right, so thank you all for joining us. Wait, Jake, you had one last thing, right? You were going to throw something out there? No? Yeah, all right, never mind.
No, not me.
No.
I
All
thought
right,
you
then
were
we're
just
out of here.
we were waiting for Blackbeard to respell that entire
That's right.
thing.
Come on, Blackbeard. Anyway, thank you all for joining us this season. We hope this was, I don't know, helpful, entertaining. Who knows? But and apologies for the bad Wi-Fi. I'm gonna go have a word with my mother. Thank you all. Thank you, JockMKT. Jakey, good times as always, right? Right, Jakey?
Always good times.
All right, we'll talk to you all later. Bye.